Commander Jun Kim stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant. His eyes were fixed on the main screen. It showed the stars and the endless dark of space. But Jun knew what was coming. The enemy was on its way. His hands gripped the rail in front of him until his knuckles turned white. "Status report," he said. His voice was calm, but everyone on the bridge could hear the worry in it. Lieutenant Hanley looked up from her station. "Sir, all 7 ships are in place. The people are still being moved to the safe ships. We've moved 62% of them. We need at least 6 more hours to get most of them out." Chief Engineer Da Park shook his head. His gray hair caught the blue light from his screen. "We don't have 6 hours, Commander. The Vraxian ships will be here in less than 2 hours." Jun closed his eyes for a moment. The Vraxian Empire had attacked Earth 3 years ago. They came with better ships and stronger weapons. Humans fought hard, but they lost battle after battle. Now, they were down to their last few ships. Earth's last defense. "How many Vraxian ships are coming?" Jun asked. 50, sir," Daz said. "Maybe more." The bridge went quiet. They knew what this meant. They would fight. They would die. But they would give the escape ships as much time as they could to get away. Some humans had to survive, even if Earth fell. Han suddenly sat up straight. Her fingers moved quickly over her controls. "Sir, I'm getting a strange signal. It's using an old Earth code. Very old." "What kind of code?" Jun asked, moving to her station. "It's from the Battle of Proxima Centauri," Han said, her eyes wide. "That was 100 years ago." Day let out a small laugh. "The Proxima ghost. That's just an old story." Jun had heard the story too. Every space sailor knew it. The EFS Indomitable was the best ship humans had ever built a century ago. It fought in the Battle of Proxima Centauri against the first aliens humans ever met in war. The Indomitable and its crew vanished during the battle. But somehow, humans won that day. Ever since then, old space sailors told stories. They said the Indomitable still sailed the stars. They said its captain had promised to protect Earth until the end of time. They said the ghost ship would appear when humans needed it most. But it was just a story, a myth, a legend to give hope to scared young sailors. "What does the signal say?" Jun asked. Han's voice shook a little. "Stand fast, Defiant. We stand with Earth. Always." Suddenly, all the alarms on the bridge went off at once. Red lights flashed. Screens showed a massive energy spike appearing in front of their fleet. "Something's coming out of. I don't know what it's coming out of," Dai shouted. "It's huge." The space in front of the Defiant seemed to tear open. It was like someone had cut a hole in the fabric of reality. Light poured out, making everyone shield their eyes. When they looked again, a ship had appeared. It was enormous, 3 times bigger than any ship humans had ever built. Its hull was dark gray with blue lights running along its length. The ship's shape was familiar. It had the same basic design as early Earth ships. But it was also different, more advanced. Parts of it seemed to fade in and out, like it wasn't fully in their reality. On the side of the hull, they could see writing. Old Earth fleet letters. They spelled out EF as Indomitable. "That's impossible," Dai whispered. The original Indomitable was much smaller. "Hail them," Jun ordered, his heart racing. Han pressed some buttons. The main screen changed. It showed a dimly lit bridge of a ship. In the center sat a woman in an old Earth fleet uniform. She had short black hair and eyes that looked too old for her young face. "This is Captain Sun Kim of the EFS Indomitable," she said. Her voice was clear and strong. "We've come to help." Jun stared at her. "Kim, that's my family name." Captain Sun smiled slightly. "Maybe not by chance, Commander. Your great-grandfather, Admiral Ta Kim, served on my ship before we left. But we can talk about that later. The Vraxians are coming." Jun shook his head, trying to make sense of it all. Captain, even with your ship, we're still facing 50 enemy ships. Their weapons are better than ours. Are they? Sun raised an eyebrow. The Indomitable has been to many places since you last saw us. We've learned many things. We've changed. As she spoke, the hull of the Indomitable began to glow with strange patterns of light. Energy readings from the ship went off the charts. We'll send you some new weapon plans, Sun continued. Follow our lead when the fighting starts. And Commander Kim. Yes, Captain. The old stories got one thing wrong. We're not ghosts. We're very much alive. And we're very, very angry. The screen went dark. June turned to his crew. They all looked shocked. Sir, Han said after a moment, the Indomitable is sending us. I don't even know what this is. Some kind of weapon plans, I think. But it's like nothing I've ever seen. Send it to the engineers, June ordered. Tell all ships to get ready. If the Indomitable is real, if this is really happening, then maybe we have a chance. Day was studying his screen. Sir, according to these readings, the Indomitable is putting out more power than all our ships combined. And there's something strange about its hull. It seems to exist partly in somewhere else. Another dimension, maybe. June nodded slowly. The story said the Indomitable vanished during the battle. Maybe it didn't just disappear. Maybe it went somewhere else. And now it's back, Han whispered. Sir, called out another officer. Vraxian fleet detected. They'll be here in 10 minutes. June straightened his back. Send to all ships. Prepare for battle. Follow the Indomitable's lead. The next hour was a blur of activity. The Indomitable sent them plans for shield modifications that their engineers rushed to implement. The ghost ship moved into position at the front of their small fleet, its massive form dwarfing the Earth ships. Vraxian fleet dropping out of faster-than-light travel, Han reported. 53 ships detected. The main screen showed the Vraxian ships appearing. They were sleek and predatory, with sharp angles and glowing red weapons ports. They formed their famous arrow shape, with the largest ship at the point. They're hailing us, Han said. The screen changed to show the face of General Krell, the Vraxian commander. His green-scaled skin and yellow eyes made him look like a snake standing upright. Humans, he hissed, your time is over. Surrender now, and we will make your end quick. Before June could answer, Captain Sun appeared on the screen next to Krell's image. General Krell, she said, my name is Captain Sun Kim of the Earth Fleet ship Indomitable. Earth is under our protection. Leave now or face the consequences. Krell's eyes narrowed. Who are you? Your ship is not in our records. We've been away for a while, Sun said, but we've come back for this moment. Krell laughed, showing sharp teeth. One more ship makes no difference. You will all die today. We'll see about that, Sun said. Then she turned to look at June. Ready your ships, Commander. It's time to show the Vraxians what happens when they threaten our home. The screen went back to showing the Vraxian fleet. They were moving forward, weapons charging. All ships, battle stations, June ordered. Follow the Indomitable's lead. As the Vraxian ships came closer, the Indomitable began to move. It glided forward with impossible grace for such a large vessel. Its hull pulsed with strange energy. Sir, Han said, her voice filled with wonder. The Indomitable is generating some kind of energy field. It's extending around our ships. June could see it on the screen. A shimmering blue field was spreading from the ghost ship, surrounding the Earth fleet. Vraxians are firing, someone shouted. Red beams of energy shot from the alien ships. They hit the blue field and stopped. The field absorbed the shots without a trace. Our shields are holding, Dai said in amazement. Whatever the Indomitable did to them, it's working. The ghost ship's response was immediate and devastating. It fired weapons unlike anything June had ever seen. Beams of white light that seemed to bend space itself. Where they hit, Vraxian ships simply came apart, their hulls peeling away layer by layer. "The Indomitable is hailing us," Han said. Captain Sun appeared on screen. "Commander Kim, prepare your ships to attack. Target the ships we mark for you. Your new shields will hold." June nodded, feeling hope for the first time in years. "All ships prepare to engage. The legend of the Indomitable is real, and it's fighting for Earth." As the Earth fleet moved forward behind their ghostly protector, June knew this day would become part of a new legend. The day the ghost ship returned. The day humanity began to fight back. The space around Earth lit up with flashes of light. The Vraxian ships fired again and again at the Earth fleet, but the blue shield from the Indomitable kept them safe. The ghost ship moved with strange grace, as if it was dancing between the stars. "This is amazing," said Da, watching the battle from his screen. "Their shots aren't hurting us at all." Commander Jum Kim nodded, but kept his eyes on the main screen. He watched as the Indomitable fired its strange white beams at the Vraxian ships. When the beams hit, the enemy ships didn't explode. Instead, they seemed to come apart piece by piece, like someone taking apart a toy. "Sir, Captain Sun is asking to speak with you," Han said. "Private channel." June moved to his small screen at the side of the bridge. Captain Sun's face appeared. Up close, she looked both young and old at the same time. Her skin was smooth, but her eyes held something ancient. "Commander Kim, we need to talk," she said. "The shield will hold for now, but I need to tell you what we're facing." "I'm listening," Jun said. "The Vraxians have a main ship, the one at the point of their arrow. That's where General Krell is. If we can take out that ship, the rest will run away. But to do that, we need to get close." June frowned. "Even with your shields, getting that close to 50 ships is dangerous." Sun smiled. "That's why I need you to create a distraction. Split your fleet. Send 3 ships to attack their right side. Send the other 3 to their left. Make them think you're trying to surround them." "And what will the Indomitable do?" June asked. "We'll dive straight for the middle. For their main ship." Sun's eyes gleamed. "They won't expect that." June thought for a moment. "It's risky, but it might work." "Trust me, Commander," Sun said. "I've been fighting battles for a very long time." June nodded and returned to the center of the bridge. "New orders." He called out, "Tell the Phoenix, Courage, and Defender to attack the right side of the Vraxian fleet. The Valiant, Thunder, and Starhammer will attack the left side." "What about us, sir?" Han asked. "The Defiant stays with the Indomitable," Jun said. "We're going straight for their leader." The crew looked at each other. Some seemed scared, others excited, but they all moved quickly to follow orders. The Earth ships split into 3 groups. As they moved into position, the Vraxian fleet began to change its shape to deal with the new threat. Some ships moved to the right, some to the left. "It's working," Daz said. "They're spreading out." "Good," said June. "All ships, attack." The Earth ships fired all their weapons. The shots didn't do much damage to the Vraxian ships, but they got their attention. The enemy turned to fire back. "Now," June ordered. The Defiant and the Indomitable shot forward, right toward the center of the Vraxian fleet. The blue shield around them glowed brighter as enemy shots hit it from all sides. "Shield holding at 92%, Day reported. The Indomitable moved faster and faster. It began to change as it flew. Parts of it became see-through, like a ghost. It passed right through 2 Vraxian ships that tried to block its path. "How did they do that?" Han gasped. "I don't know," Jum said, his eyes wide. "But I'm glad they're on our side." The ghost ship and the Defiant broke through the Vraxian lines. Ahead of them was the biggest enemy ship, General Krell's command vessel. "They're targeting us with everything they have," Dad warned. The screen showed hundreds of red beams heading straight for them. The blue shield flared brightly as it blocked the attacks. "Shield down to 67%, Daz said. 54%. 42%. We won't make it, Han said, fear in her voice. Suddenly, the Indomitable changed again. It moved in front of the Defiant, taking all the shots itself. Its hull began to glow with the same red light as the Vraxian weapons. What are they doing? Jun wondered aloud. His question was answered a moment later. The Indomitable fired back at Krell's ship, but now its beams were red. It was using the Vraxians' own weapon energy against them. The red beams hit Krell's ship. Huge explosions ripped across its hull. Fires broke out all over it. The massive ship began to slow down. They've heard it, Dai shouted. The Vraxian command ship is damaged. June leaned forward. Now's our chance. Target their engines and fire everything we have. The Defiant fired all its weapons at the wounded Vraxian ship. The shots hit where the ship was already damaged, making the situation worse for the enemy. Sir, we're getting a message from the other Earth ships, Han said. They say the Vraxians are pulling back on both sides. They're confused. June smiled. They didn't expect us to hurt their leader. Keep firing. The Indomitable moved closer to Krell's ship. It fired again and again, each shot precise and devastating. The Vraxian command ship's lights began to flicker and die. The Vraxians are calling for help, Han said, listening to her headset. Their leader is telling all ships to protect him. Too late, Jun said. The Indomitable fired one last shot, a bright white beam that cut through the center of Krell's ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Vraxian vessel split in two, each half drifting away from the other. They did it, Dai whispered. They destroyed the Vraxian command ship. The bridge of the Defiant erupted in cheers. People hugged each other. Some cried with relief. After 3 years of losing, they had finally won a battle. Sir, Han called over the noise. The rest of the Vraxian fleet is running away. They're retreating. The cheers grew louder. June watched the screen as the enemy ships turned and fled, disappearing into the darkness of space. Get me the Indomitable, June said. The screen changed to show Captain Sun. She looked tired, but pleased. Well done, Commander, she said. Your ships fought bravely. It was your plan, Jun said. And your ship that made the difference. Sun nodded. But this is just the beginning. The Vraxians will be back, and with more ships next time. Then we'll be ready, Jun said confidently. Perhaps, Sun said. But there's something you need to know. Something about the Indomitable. About what happened to us. Before she could continue, Day called out in alarm. Sir, the Indomitable's energy readings are dropping fast. June looked at the main screen. The ghost ship was changing again. Large parts of it were becoming transparent. It looked like it was fading away. Captain Sun, what's happening to your ship? June asked urgently. Sun's image flickered on the screen. We can't stay in normal space for long. The ship exists between dimensions now. I don't understand, Jun said. 100 years ago, at the Battle of Proxima Centauri, we were losing, Sun explained, her voice getting weaker. To save Earth, we activated an experimental drive. It was supposed to make us move faster than light. Instead, it pushed us halfway into another dimension. That's how you disappeared, Jun realized. Sun nodded. We've been there ever since. Not fully in our world, not fully in the other. We can come back for short times, but it takes enormous energy. But you came back to help us, Jun said. Why now? We've always been watching, Sun said. We've seen everything that's happened to Earth. When the Vraxians attacked 3 years ago, we knew we had to prepare. It took us this long to gather enough energy to return. The Indomitable was now barely visible. It looked like a ship made of fog. We have to go back now, Sun said. But before we do, we're sending you something. Plans. Technology we've learned from the space between worlds. Use it. Build new ships. Prepare for the next attack. When will that be? Jun asked. We don't know, but the Vraxians won't give up easily. Sun's image was breaking up now. "We'll be watching, Commander Kim. And if you need us again, we'll come." "Wait," June called. "There's so much more I want to ask you." But it was too late. The screen went dark. On the main display, the Indomitable faded away completely, like it had never been there at all. "Sir," Han said after a moment, "we're receiving data from where the Indomitable was. Lots of data. Ship plans, weapon designs, shield technology. It's incredible." June stared at the empty space where the ghost ship had been. "Send it all to Earth Command. Tell them the legend is real. The Indomitable came back to help us, just like the old story said." "Do you think we'll see them again?" Dai asked quietly. June nodded slowly. "I think so. They promised to protect Earth. And now I believe they always will." As the Defiant turned to rejoin the rest of the fleet, June couldn't help looking back one last time. For just a second, he thought he saw a flicker of light where the ghost ship had been, a reminder that some legends never truly die. 3 weeks passed since the battle. Earth had changed. People walked with hope in their steps again. For the first time in 3 years, they weren't just waiting to die. They were planning for the future. Commander June Kim stood in a large room deep under the Earth Defense Headquarters. Around him, hundreds of scientists and engineers worked on the plans the Indomitable had left behind. Giant screens showed designs for new ships, new weapons, and new shields. "Amazing, isn't it?" said a voice beside him. June turned to see Admiral Yun, the head of Earth's defense forces. She was an older woman with gray hair and kind eyes that had seen too much war. "Yes, it is," June agreed. "I never thought I'd see anything like this." "None of us did," said Yun. "The Indomitable changed everything. That's why I've called you here." She led June to a small room with a single table. On the table sat a strange device. It was a metal box with soft blue lights glowing on its surface. "What is this?" June asked. "We found it in the data the Indomitable sent," Yun explained. "It's a communication device. We built it using their plans. And this morning, it turned on by itself." June stepped closer to the box. "It's trying to talk to us." "We think it's trying to talk to you," Yun said. "Every time we bring someone near it, nothing happens. But the data mentioned your name specifically. Captain Sun wanted you to have this." June reached out slowly and touched the box. The moment his fingers made contact, the blue lights grew brighter. A beam shot up from the top of the box, forming a small hologram. It was Captain Sun. "Commander Kim," the hologram said. "If you're seeing this, then you've built the comm device correctly. Well done." "It's her," June whispered. "I can't really see or hear you." Sun's hologram continued. "This is a one-way message. But there are things you need to know. Important things about the war that's coming." June and Yun exchanged worried looks. "The Vraxians will return," Sun said. "They're gathering their forces now. Our sensors in the space between dimensions can see them. You have 3 months, maybe 4, before they come back with an even bigger fleet." 3 months, Yun muttered. "That's not much time." "But you have an advantage now," Sun continued. "The technology we've given you. It will help you build ships and weapons that can fight the Vraxians. And there's something else. Something we didn't tell you during the battle." The hologram changed. Now it showed a map of the solar system. A red dot appeared near Jupiter. "There's a Vraxian base hidden here," Sun said as the hologram changed back to her face. "They built it when they first came to your system. It's where they've been repairing their ships and planning their attacks. You need to destroy it before their main fleet returns." June leaned closer. "A base. In our own system. How did we miss that?" "It's cloaked with technology our sensors couldn't detect," Sun explained, as if she had heard his question. "But the plans we sent you include new scanner designs that can find it. Build those first." "This changes everything," Yun said. "If we can hit their base before they expect it." "One more thing," Sun's hologram said. The Indomitable can't help you with this attack. We used too much energy in the battle. We need time to regain our strength before we can return to your dimension. You'll have to do this on your own." The hologram flickered for a moment. "I believe in you," Commander Kim, Sun said. "Your ancestor, Admiral Ta Kim, was one of my best officers. You have his courage, his determination. Lead this attack. Show the Phraxians that humanity doesn't need a ghost ship to win." The hologram disappeared. The blue lights on the box dimmed. Jun stood in silence for a long moment. Then he looked at Admiral Yun. "How soon can we build the new scanners?" "We already started," Yun said. "They should be ready in a week. But attacking the base will be dangerous. We only have 7 ships left." "Then we need to build more," Jun said firmly. "Using the Indomitable's plans. We have 3 months. We need to use every minute." 2 months later, Commander Jun Kim stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was called the UES Spirit, and it was built using the Indomitable's technology. It wasn't as big as the ghost ship, but it was more advanced than anything humans had built before. "Final system check," Jun ordered. Hanley, now his second in command, nodded. "All systems green, Commander. The new shields are at full power. Weapons are ready." Daypark looked up from his station. "Dimensional drives are online. We can make the jump whenever you're ready." Jun looked around the bridge. The crew was ready, determined. They had trained hard for this mission. "Send to all ships," Jun said. "Prepare for dimensional jump." The Spirit wasn't alone. 4 other new ships floated nearby, all built with the ghost ship's technology. Together, they formed Earth's new strike force. "Jump in 3, 2, 1. Han counted down. The Spirit and the other ships activated their new drives. Space seemed to bend around them. Stars stretched into lines. There was a moment of darkness, then light again. "Jump complete," Day reported. "We're near Jupiter, right where the base should be." Jun looked at the main screen. At first, he saw nothing but the giant planet and its moons. Then the new scanners did their work. A shape appeared, floating in space. It was a massive station, built like a wheel with spikes sticking out from the center. "There it is," Jun said. "The Phraxian base." "They haven't seen us yet," Han said. "Our cloaking technology is working." Jun nodded. "Good. Move us closer. Tell all ships to take their positions." The Earth ships spread out, surrounding the Phraxian base. They moved silently, hidden by their new cloaking devices. "I'm reading 20 Phraxian ships docked at the station," Daz said. "Most of them are damaged from our last battle. They're still being repaired." "Perfect," Jum said. "They won't be able to fight back." The Spirit moved into position. The attack plan was simple but effective. Each Earth ship would target a different part of the base. They would hit hard and fast before the Phraxians could react. "All ships in position," Han reported. Jun took a deep breath. "Drop cloaks and fire." The 5 Earth ships appeared suddenly, shocking the Phraxians. Before the aliens could respond, the humans fired their new weapons. Beams of white energy, just like the ones the Indomitable had used, shot toward the base. The beams cut through the Phraxian station like it was made of paper. Explosions rippled across its surface. The docked ships tried to launch, but they were too slow. Most were destroyed while still connected to the base. "Direct hits on all targets," Dag called out. "The base's power cord is destabilizing." "All ships, pull back," Jun ordered. "The explosion will be massive." The Earth ships turned and accelerated away from the station. Behind them, the Phraxian base began to break apart. Its power core glowed brighter and brighter. 5 seconds to core breach, Dag counted. 4, 3, 2, 1. The base exploded in a ball of blinding light. The shockwave raced outward, but the Earth ships were already safely out of range. "We did it," Han said, her voice filled with awe. "We destroyed their base." The bridge crew cheered. Jun allowed himself a small smile. Captain Sun had been right. Humanity didn't need a ghost ship to win this battle. They just needed the right tools and the courage to use them. Send word to Earth, Jun said. The mission was a success. The Vraxian base is destroyed. As the Spirit and the other ships prepared to jump back to Earth, Jun looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, in the space between dimensions, the Indomitable was watching. He hoped Captain Sun was proud. Set course for home, he ordered. We have more work to do. The Vraxians will still come, but now we'll be ready for them. The Earth ships disappeared in flashes of light, leaving behind only floating debris where the enemy base had been. It was a message to the Vraxians. Humanity was fighting back, and this time they would not be defeated so easily. 3 months after destroying the Vraxian base, Earth was ready. They had built 20 new ships using the Indomitable's plans. Each ship had the new shields and weapons. The people of Earth called their new fleet the Ghost Fleet, to honor the ship that had given them hope. Commander Jum Kim, now Admiral Kim, stood on the bridge of the UES Spirit. It was the flagship of the Ghost Fleet. Around him, his crew worked at their stations. Han was now his second in command. Da was the chief engineer for the whole fleet. Any sign of them? Jum asked. Han looked up from her screen. Nothing yet, sir, but our long-range scanners are working perfectly. We'll see them coming. Jun nodded. The new scanners could detect ships moving through space from much farther away than before. Earth would have warning when the Vraxians returned. Sir, Da called out. I've been studying the communication device from the Indomitable again. I think I found something new. Jun walked over to Da's station. What is it? It's sending out a signal, Da explained. A very weak one. I didn't notice it before. It's aimed at a specific point in space. Where? Jun asked. Da pointed to his screen. Here, about 1 light hour from Earth. There's nothing there, as far as I can tell. Jun frowned. Keep watching it. Let me know if anything changes. Just then, the alarms went off. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Multiple ships detected. Han shouted, coming in fast from the direction of Vraxian space. Jun hurried back to the center of the bridge. Show me. The main screen lit up. It showed dots of light moving toward Earth. Lots of dots. How many? Jun asked quietly. Han's face was pale. 120 ships, sir. More than twice what they sent last time. The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. Even with their new ships and new technology, they were still outnumbered 6-1. Send to all ships, Jun said after a moment. Battle stations. Form up in defense pattern Alpha. As the crew rushed to follow orders, Jun looked at the small metal box sitting near his command chair. The communication device from the Indomitable. Its blue lights were glowing more brightly than before. Sir, Da said suddenly. The signal from the device. It's getting stronger. Before Jun could respond, the alarms sounded again. Sir, Han called. The Vraxian fleet has stopped. They're just sitting there, about half a light hour from Earth. Why would they stop? Jun wondered. The answer came a moment later. A new signal appeared on their scanners. Something massive was moving toward Earth from a different direction. What is that? Han asked. It's too big to be a ship. But it was a ship, the biggest they had ever seen. As it came closer, Jun recognized its shape. The Indomitable, he whispered. But it wasn't the same ship they had seen before. This Indomitable was even larger. Parts of it seemed to shift and change, like it wasn't fully in their reality. It glowed with blue light that hurt the eyes if you looked at it too long. They came back, Da said, his voice filled with wonder. The communication device on the bridge suddenly projected a hologram. Captain Sun appeared, looking just as she had before. Admiral Kim, she said with a small smile. I see you've been promoted. Well deserved. Captain Sun, Jun said. You've returned. We said we would. Sun replied. The Vraxians brought their main fleet this time. They're angry about losing their base. This will be their final attack. Even with your ship, we're still outnumbered, Jun pointed out. Are we? Sun raised an eyebrow. Look again. Jun turned to the main screen. Behind the Indomitable, more ships were appearing. They looked similar to the ghost ship, but smaller. Each one glowed with the same strange blue light. What are those? Jun asked. Our fleet, Sun explained. When the Indomitable was trapped between dimensions, we found others there. Ships and crews from 1,000 worlds, all lost like we were. We formed an alliance. And now, we've come to help you. Hunt was checking her scanner. Sir, I'm counting 50 ships in the Ghost Fleet. Maybe more. They keep appearing. Jun looked back at Sun's hologram. Why help us? You barely know us. Because that's what the Indomitable has always done. Sun said simply. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. And because your ancestor, Admiral Ta Kim, made me promise to always protect Earth, I keep my promises. The hologram flickered for a moment. The Vraxians have seen us, Sun continued. They're moving again, heading straight for us. They think they can overwhelm us with numbers. What's the plan? Jun asked. Your fleet will protect Earth, Sun said. My fleet will engage the Vraxians directly. Together, we'll end this threat once and for all. The hologram disappeared. Jun turned to his crew. You heard her, he said. All ships form defensive position around Earth. Prepare all weapons. The Ghost Fleet moved into position. On the main screen, they could see the Indomitable and its allies moving toward the Vraxian fleet. The two sides met in a flash of light and energy that was visible even from Earth. It started, Han said quietly. The battle was like nothing they had ever seen. The ghost ships moved impossibly fast, appearing and disappearing as they fought. When Vraxian weapons hit them, the energy seemed to pass right through without causing damage. And when the ghost ships fired back, their weapons tore through the Vraxian shields like they weren't even there. They're winning, Daz said, watching the scanner. The Vraxians are losing ships fast. But then something changed. A group of Vraxian ships broke away from the main battle. They turned and headed straight for Earth. They're trying to get around the Ghost Fleet, Jun realized. All ships prepare to engage. Protect Earth at all costs. 20 Vraxian ships raced toward Earth. The Ghost Fleet moved to intercept them. The two sides met, and the battle began. The Earth ships fought well. Their new shields and weapons worked just as they had hoped. But the Vraxians were desperate, and they threw everything they had at the defenders. Shield at 60%, Han reported as the Spirit shook from another hit. 2 of our ships are heavily damaged. Jun gripped his chair. Keep fighting. We just need to hold until... He was cut off by a bright flash on the main screen. The Indomitable had broken through the Vraxian lines. It was heading straight for the ships attacking Earth, with the rest of the Ghost Fleet right behind it. They're coming to help us, Daz said. The Vraxians, caught between the Earth fleet and the approaching ghost ships, tried to scatter. But it was too late. The Indomitable fired its strange white beams, cutting 3 enemy ships in half with a single shot. The rest of the Ghost Fleet joined in, and within minutes, the Vraxian attack group was destroyed. The main Vraxian fleet is retreating, Han reported, her voice rising in excitement. They're running away. The bridge erupted in cheers. Jun watched as the Vraxian ships turned and fled, disappearing into the darkness of space. The Ghost Fleet did not chase them. Instead, they formed up around the Indomitable and turned back toward Earth. We did it, Jun said quietly. We won. The communication device lit up again. Captain Sun appeared, looking tired but happy. Well fought, Admiral, she said. The Vraxians won't bother Earth again. We made sure of it. Thank you, Jun said, for everything. Will you stay this time? Sun shook her head. We can't. Our place is between the dimensions now, but we'll always be watching. always protecting. Will we see you again? June asked. Perhaps, Sun said with a small smile. When we're needed. Until then, the stars are yours, Admiral Kim. Make us proud. The hologram faded away. On the main screen, the Indomitable and its fleet began to shimmer and fade, returning to their place between dimensions. As they disappeared, June stood tall on his bridge. Send to all ships and to Earth. The war is over. We have won. The message spread across the fleet, then down to the planet below. Celebrations broke out everywhere. People looked up at the stars with hope instead of fear. And somewhere, in the space between dimensions, the Indomitable continued its endless patrol. No longer just a myth or a ghost story, but a guardian, a protector, a legend that would live forever in the hearts of humanity.